We are live in a living color from Scimitar Studios in Denville, New Jersey. You're listening live to the Open Mic program right here on Blog Talk Radio. Welcome aboard, everybody, into the Sports Talk Nation as we have a great show for you today. Our baseball tour continues, and this time we go down south into Atlanta to talk about the Atlanta Braves as they get set for a new season, set to open up a brand new ballpark called SunTrust Field. And we got a great guest to join us to talk about the Braves throughout the course of this 1 hour program today, and that is Ben Poplin from 27 Outs Baseball. Ben is also a baseball broadcaster, once broadcast the games for the Rome Braves, and he'll be joining us in the program right about now. Ben, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Mike. How are you doing?
Doing great. Glad to have you aboard. So, folks, Ben...
thanks for having me, man. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely. So, Ben, just to tell our folks listening in, I joined Ben and Chris Hogan just last week on their podcast at 27 Outs Baseball. And, of course, we had Chris here just a week ago to talk about the Red Sox. And very happy to have Ben aboard here to talk about the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah, we had a good time a couple of days ago. You talking about your ill-fated love for the Mets and your hatred for the Yankees. And, you know, you were honest. I got to give it to you. You were honest, breaking down all of the Mets, the injuries, everything. So I'm going to try to provide the exact same atmosphere and exact same perspective from a Braves perspective right now. It's a great time to be a Brave, though, right now. We're in a great situation.
You guys are. I mean, I'm looking at this team going into this year, and just my general impression, I mean, this is a group that, moving into the new ballpark, I hate to say they're going for it, but it kind of feels they are. When you take a look at some of the moves they made in the offseason, they bring in Bartolo Colon, Jamie Garcia, which is a very solid move for the rotation. R.A. Dickey, they bring him in. You have Nick Markakis there now for a second straight year. You have Matt Kemp for a full year in the outfield. You have, of course, Freddie Freeman there. So this is a team that you take a look at their roster, and also Brandon Phillips. You take a look at some of the Major League talent they brought in the offseason. They look like a team that's trying to go for it, at least for a wild card this year, even though this team did lose 68 games last year.
Well, make no bones about it. John Coppolella, John Hart, front office, they want to compete. They are realistic, but they do want to compete. So you come away with 68 wins last year. I think you're going to have a little bit north of that, possibly around 80 plus, but you can compete. I don't know what's going to shape up in the NL East. I don't know what injuries are going to succumb for the Washington Nationals and your New York Mets. Only time will tell. We don't know. But they're not the worst team. They're not the Phillies. And they're not the Tampa Bay Rays. So, you know, they're better than those guys, and they're better than the Oakland Athletics, a couple of other teams. So, you know, they're not the bottom of the totem pole like they are last year. And, again, they want to compete. They want to compete. They are realistic, but they do want to compete. And you mentioned Jaime Garcia. He was a great acquisition because the Braves really, really needed a starting left-hander, a veteran starting left-hander in the rotation. He provides that, and you've also got a couple of other guys coming up through the pipeline right now, which is stacked with arms, upon arms, upon arms. So it's a great situation when it comes to the pitching. And you mentioned the veteran acquisitions, and R.A. Dickey and Big Sexy himself, Bartolo Colon. You guys enjoyed him with the New York Mets. He hit a home run last year, which no one thought was possible, one of the greatest moments ever in baseball, most likely. But I feel like they provide some great leadership for these young arms that will come up. Because if you've seen the Braves pitching staff over the past couple of years, it's been described as a revolving door, and that's really what it's been. You have so many arms coming up from so many different levels, relying either on injuries or you're just going to bring someone up to see if they can cut the stuff, you know. Aaron Blair last year was a great example. He did not do that great. Towards the end of the season, he kind of figured it out. So we'll see if he makes a back end of the bullpen shot or if he's one of the early call-ups. But there's so many pitchers like that right now in the Braves organization. So you may see more of those revolving doors. But we'll just have to see how the 2000 season campaign shapes up for these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, let's talk about this rotation a little bit more, because you look at these two. Let's start with the two older guys, and Colon and Dickey. You know, you got there are two guys here that the Braves know can go out there and give them at least 200 innings in the season. Neither guy throws very hard, but both of them are effective, each in their own way. Dickey, of course, with that knuckleballer, fake knuckleball, whatever you want to call it, and Bartolo Colon with his. Well, he's just Bartolo Colon. That's all I can say. I mean, the guy's just unbelievable. Defies age at every single point. So you have these two guys in the middle of this rotation. And I don't know what the expectation level is as far as, how many games they're going to pitch this year. You would think right now, maybe, you would think going into a season you want to get 30 starts from these guys, but who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Injuries happen. Guys don't pitch well. You have guys coming up in the minor leagues, as you mentioned, that could be coming up at some point down the road. So at least, I hate to use a football term like bridge, because you usually use that for teams that are transitioning with a quarterback, bridge quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you can kind of use that for these two guys as kind of like bridge pitchers in a lot of ways to some of these younger guys.
No, that's a pretty good way to put it, actually. They're bridging the gap, if you will, to use a popular metaphor. So, yeah, you expect them to make 20, 30 starts, something along those lines, but Bartolo Colon eats up 200 innings probably a year. He throws one pitch, so he's not going to get hurt. He doesn't stress himself with anything. Heck, the dude throws behind his back more than he flips it to first normally. And R.A. Dickey throws one pitch as well. It's a knuckleball. He'll mix a fastball in every now and then. If he gets hurt, his career's done. Practically his career's already done, so right now he's trying to find one more little puff of steam in that career, and he's 40-plus years old, so we'll see how that goes. But I don't know if these guys are in the starting rotation for the entire year, depending on how the guys in AAA and AA and Mississippi do, because you can't keep a good arm down if he's good enough to make it at the big league level. So, well, again, there's just so many arms we could talk about. It's crazy. It's really, really crazy. The number of arms they have acquired over the past couple of years, heck, going back to 2012. And those guys have been either traded, released, or there's some that are hanging on by a thread right now. It's really just – we're extremely fortunate to have all of the arms and to get everyone that we have from the Arizona Diamondbacks and a couple of other big-name teams that John Capalella pretty much just reached into their pocket and stole everything they had in their wallet. That's pretty much what happened.
I mean, this franchise has been known for its pitching. I mean, that's obvious. It goes without saying when you consider the guys they had in the 90s. When you take a look what they have coming up through the system, and you have, right away, you have two left-handers right there in the top six in Colby Allard and Sean Newcomb. Allard has some really impressive stats from just a year ago, where he struck out 62 batters in 60 innings down in Rome last year. And then you have Mike. Then you also have the right-hander, Mike. I hope I pronounced his name right. Soroka.
Soroka.
Another guy who was a big strikeout pitcher, 125 strikeouts last year for Rome. So they got some guys. I mean, you've seen a lot. You've probably seen a few of these guys yourself. I mean, just tell me who kind of stands out for you down that farm system as far as the pitching is concerned.
Of all the names you just mentioned, I had the chance to see all of them up close except for Sean Newcomb. You left one out, Max Fried. Max Fried was absolutely tremendous last year, and he underwent Tommy John a couple of years back when he was with another organization. So you're going to see him one of the first guys called up, I think, because he is older, because he's a veteran, because he's proved himself. He struck out 15 in the championship game last year against a very good Lakewood Blue Claws, Mike. So he's ready to jump to the next level. I'm not saying that's big league level, but he probably starts in AA. But he's been tremendous. Patrick Weigel was another arm, but he was one of the first ones called up to Mississippi, actually. He jumped the high A level completely. Didn't see an inning in high A. But what sticks out to me is Max Fried for sure. Colby Allard, who still has acne on his face, and he's 18 years of age, blowing guys away. It's ridiculous how good he is. Suki Toussaint was another name you didn't mention. He was great. Turning it around last year, he was voted the best curveball in the system. I'm not sure what the system was, who voted, but hey, he's got a tremendous curveball. There's no question about that. And I'm trying to think of who some other arms. There were just so many that came through Rome last year. It was nuts. It was a five-man rotation that could have easily been an ace with any other team in that league.
Unbelievable. I mean,
we were very fortunate in Rome. It was unbelievably good.
I mean, it's really scary what they're capable of doing here with this team. I mean, they already have a guy like Julio Teheran, who has been their ace of the staff for a couple of years now. He's going to be the ace of the staff this year. You mentioned it before. Jaime Garcia, I think, is going to be a very solid number two pitcher in this rotation for this team. And you have all these young guys coming up through the system. One guy that is one of the young guys that's already up there and is having a pretty good spring training this year. He hasn't won a game, but he has an ERA around 2, and that is Mike Fultonates, who came up last year, pitched in 22 games to the major league level, did pretty well, won 9 games, pitched over 120 innings last year. Big kid, 6'4", 220. He's only 25 years old. What are the prospects for this guy who's up here now with this Braves team?
Yeah, Mike Foltynewicz was great last year. You had the revolving arms we referred to a couple of moments ago. He was one of the arms that actually stuck. He came up, he made a big splash, he remained up there, and as a result, he has earned a role in that starting five-man rotation. You also have Matt Whistler, who he had struggles in the 2016 season. I honestly thought he might earn that spot over Mike Foltynewicz, but you mentioned ERA in spring training, north of 2, just a tad, but spring training, you're trying to iron out all of the kinks, work on mechanics, all of these things, so it doesn't really matter. But Mike Foltynewicz, yeah, he was tremendous. He's got a great length to him, reaches back, fires. He's also got some great breaking pitches in his repertoire, and you're going to see a lot of great things from him. You hopefully get 15, 16 starts from him. He stays up, he stays healthy. No surgeries, knock on wood, right now to this point in his short career. But you mentioned he's 25 years of age. Sign this guy up if he performs this year, and let's make him a number 2, number 3 starter behind Tehran for years to come. And then, hey, throw in Max Reid a couple of months down the road, throw in Matt Whistler, or you can trade anyone away and get arms. Honestly, the Braves have proven that they can get pretty much anyone they want. And when it comes to an arm, John Coppolella is the mastermind when it comes to being persuasive and getting someone he wants. He's going to get them, especially if it's a pitcher.
It's thinking about what the Braves are doing here as far as the young pitching is concerned, and I look at the other two teams in this division that are considered the favorites. Look at Washington and then look at the New York Mets. Maybe more so with the Mets than the Nationals. Nationals have been going their way with veteran pitching arms like Scherzer and what have you. But the Mets over the last couple of years have had this influx of young arms that are now established major league guys like Syndergaard, like DeGrom, Matt Harvey. Even though Matt Harvey's kind of had his downturn right now with the arm injuries he's going through, and a lot of people wondering whether he should have extended spring training this year just to get himself going in the right direction after the arm injury that he endured last year. It looks like we're having a bit of an arms race here in the NL East, and that's something that is really exciting when you look at what the Braves are capable of doing, what the Mets have. And look, even the Mets, beyond just the three guys I mentioned, have some guys that are coming up like a Seth Lugo and a Robert Gsellman, who's going to be in the rotation this year. It's going to be very interesting to see how all these young arms and all these teams are going to be competing in this division.
Yeah, it is really crazy to see how many young arms you mentioned with all of these different teams in the NL East. You got Gio Gonzalez, who is still pretty stinking good with the Washington Nationals. They did trade away Lucas Giolito, who I had the chance to see when he was with the Hagerstown Suns briefly here in the South Atlantic League with Rome. It's crazy to see how many young arms. We're at a great stage in baseball right now, Mike, with all of these arms, all of these pitching. You guys have a plethora of arms. I don't know why Noah Syndergaard, a.k.a. Thor, decided he wanted to add 20 pounds of muscle. The dude's already a Greek god, literally. So it's unbelievable. Why does he add more muscle? I think he's more prone to injury adding more muscle. But Matt Harvey used to be known as Batman. He's no longer Batman, even though he likes Batman, has the cleats and the bat. We can talk about that. He's my favorite superhero. But neither here nor there. He certainly doesn't want to go to extended spring training. His agent certainly doesn't want to go to extended spring training because that's a death wish. Everyone hates to go to extended. But if he irons things out, maybe you come back. But, hey, you do have Zach Wheeler. So if Matt Harvey can't make it, put Zach Wheeler out there. He's been waiting a year and a half. He's earned it. He's done really well. Give him a shot. But we'll see. I mean, Jacob DeGrom, Noah Syndergaard, when are they going to cut their hair, Mike? I just want to know. It's been 2 years, 3 years now.
I think they kind of like the 80s/90s rock band feel to it. I don't know what
they
it is.
Do.
But, yeah, I mean, I think they're just going to keep let that hair grow until they just stop pitching well on a regular basis.
I mean, it's impressive. It's impressive. I would not have that dedication when it comes to growing out the flow. I try to keep it short and tight, but hey, that's their personal preference. That's something we're seeing in baseball now, too. A lot of hair, a lot of flow.
Yeah, here's a statement. It's not really not a serious statement, but kind of funny in ways. Maybe they're just waiting for to actually win a World Series this time, if that ever does come to pass for the Mets, and then they can cut that hair and very disgustingly put it in the Hall of Fame. But I don't know. It's good.
Hey, well, that would be disgusting, but hey,
it would
put
be.
It into a shrine, yeah, in Cooperstown. I mean, the Cubs the other day shaved their heads for cancer. So, I mean, the Mets could say something like that. Locks of Love is a great organization. If you grow your hair out, they'll provide a lot of different funds for people who can't grow hair or someone with cancer, and they create a wig out of your hair. Just, yeah. You didn't know we were going to talk about a lot about hair, but hey, that's what we're doing.
Hey,
that's what we're doing. This is
we
live
got
radio.
Yeah, that's what the fun of radio right there. Anyway, back on this.
Yeah.
I'm back on this Atlanta Braves team. I want to ask you about this bullpen because this bullpen, from what I'm seeing here, looks pretty deep. They have a lot of live arms there. What's your impression about what they're trying to put together this season as far as the bullpen, the bridge to get to the closer?
You've got a guy like Mauricio Cabrera, who was originally a starter. He's a great setup guy for Arodys Vizcaíno, second trip through with the Atlanta Braves organization. You re-signed Jim Johnson. I feel like Jim Johnson is going to be more of a setup guy, to use your term earlier, bridging the gap going towards Vizcaíno, but Mauricio Cabrera could, in fact, steal that closer role. What the question remains is middle half there. Who are you going to use? Fifth, sixth inning. Tehran maybe goes 5-6 innings consistently. Who are you going to use? Those are the questions right now that I have, that a lot of people have. We asked those questions about the New York Yankees as well when you broke it down on our show, The Interview, 27-ounce baseball. So just a couple of questions. Those are the arms that really stick out to me. You also have several guys who were drafted back in 2012 who were originally starters, and they have now been turned into bullpen guys. I'm talking about Jason Hirsch, who was a number one pick out of Oklahoma State. He's been turned into a bullpen guy. Several others, Matt Marksberry, who has since been released, good friend, he was released. You hope he gets picked up by somebody. Sean Newcomb is a starter right now. Who knows what's going to happen in the future? There's just several guys that they've turned in to these relievers when they were originally starters, so I could see more of that happening, Mike, honestly. I really could. If Matt Whiffler can't cut it as a starter, he'd be a great reliever. He's got a great 4 pitches in his repertoire there. Excellent curveball. So the question remains is who's going to fill those slots, though? I honestly don't know. I really do not know. I know that you've got the 7, 8, 9 guys pretty much locked up, but I don't know those 5th and 6th inning guys, and I don't know who your long inning relief guy is either. You know, if Tehran gives up 6 and 2 innings and you're forced to take him out, Snit comes out, grabs the ball, who's going to take his spot? I don't know. Bartolo could be a great long inning relief guy, as you've shown with the New York Mets.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't mind going out of the bullpen. The man throws one pitch, so it doesn't matter to him whether he throws it in what situation. So it's just an interesting conundrum right now when you come to that middle half of the bullpen for the Atlanta Braves. I feel like they make some more moves, honestly. Maybe not before the season starts, but you get a gauge for the season a couple of weeks down the road. How many wins do they have? Will players come pitch for this team? We'll see. We'll see if John Capalella lobbies to bring a couple of more arms in and win, because it's going to happen when that first call-up is, because they've called them up as soon as second week of April. They've called them up as late as early September as the September call-ups ring around. It's just crazy, honestly. You just don't know who's going to come up. I'm sorry, but you don't know who's going to come up. Mauricio Cabrera.
I agree, and I think they're in a very interesting situation because
stick out for me. What's that?
I'm sorry. I was going to say I think they're in a very interesting situation because it really depends upon where they are this year. I mean, if they find themselves in a spot where they are winning, I mean, they have enough talent here where they can win some games here and make some noise. Certainly in a wild card. I'm not saying they're going to win. I'm not saying they're going to win 85 games, but I'm saying that they're going to make some. They have a chance to make some noise here. The question is going to be: do they want to go out there and make a move for a bullpen arm, make a move for a guy who could be available? I don't know who would be, or do they just want to call guys up? Or if they feel they're out of it, obviously at that point, then you can try to trade some of these veteran arms like a Columnar, like a Blaine Boyer, and try to move up some of these young kids up through the system a little bit quicker, I guess, and give them some taste of Major League action. So they're really on a kind of in-between right now at this stage of the season.
Great way to put it. They are in an in-between, and I feel like you see a little bit of both. You said call-ups, you said moves. I think you see a little bit of both, honestly, and it really does depend on if they can compete, because that is the goal. We've ironed that out already, but how well do they actually compete? You got the Washington Nationals and your New York Mets. They're knocking at the door. You're going to play them 50% of your season. You're going to have to see these guys a lot. So we'll see how they compete against their NL East rivals. Notoriously, they do not compete very well against the Washington Nationals. Notoriously, they do compete pretty well against your New York Mets. So it remains to be seen. Phillies and Marlins, that's a toss-up right now, to be honest with you.
It is. I mean, the Marlins are a strange team because they had a good year last year, but they're a team that's so inconsistent. They, 1 year they're good and next year they're not. 1 year you think that they're going to commit to the team. Next year they're selling everyone off. You never know. And the Phillies I thought that this year would be a year where they would start to make at least strides to improve, but really didn't get that impression from them over the offseason. So I guess they're probably going to be in 5th place again this year. So, yeah, I mean, I really think Atlanta's kind of in this limbo situation where they could be either right in the thick of this thing and make some noise against the Washington, New York, and I think they'll certainly win their games against Washington, New York, or they're going to be, or they might struggle. So that's kind of where they are right now.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I think that gives them an advantage, not just all the young pitching they have coming up. I look at this offense, Ben, and they just have a lot of experienced guys at different spots. Obviously, Freddie Freeman, their first baseman, their franchise, if you will, with 34 home runs last year. He's the cornerstone. But I look at guys like Nick Markakis. I look at guys like Brandon Phillips. I look at a guy like a Matt Kemp. And I'll even go into center field and look at your situation there. And they got guys like Emilio Bonifacio who could come off the bench. They got guys who've been there and done that. So what are your thoughts about what they have here?
They do have guys that have been there and done that. A lot of veterans out there. You just mentioned Nick Markakis is a doubles machine. You know what you're going to get out of him every year. Matt Kemp came in a little overweight once the Braves acquired him from the Padres last year. He's since trimmed down. He's had a good spring. He's going to have a good season. Freddie Freeman, you know what you're going to get out of him. Career numbers last year. Let's hope he repeats. That would be awesome. Brandon Phillips is a great acquisition because Ozzie Albies is the name everyone's going to throw it around. Would Ozzie Albies have been the second baseman starting here had he not injured his wrist last year towards the tail end of the season with Mississippi? I don't know. We don't know. That was in the past. But Albies will most likely be the first call-up when he is ready. Seems to be ready right now. So he probably starts in AAA. Brandon Phillips is going to groom him. So they may platoon out there. I don't know how Brandon Phillips is going to like that, but he is a placeholder right now, and he really has to understand that. He is merely a placeholder. He's not someone the Braves are going to build around. He is there until Ozzie Albies is ready. You failed to mention Dansby Swanson, who has yet to prove himself really at the major league level. Defensively, he's a stud. Offensively, we know what his numbers. We know what he did at Vanderbilt. We know what he's done with the Arizona Diamondbacks in that 1 year #1 pick in that draft, and what he's done with the Braves in his short time throughout the minor league system. I really want him to break out. He could be a rookie of the year if he comes in swinging. He could be a #2 guy in the lineup. He could be a #6, 7 guy. Bolster that, bring in some RBI. It's just a great situation. The question remains here at Adonis Garcia at third base. Has he proven himself slightly when it comes to the major league level? Is he the starting rotation or the starting third baseman of the future for the Braves? Absolutely not. You've got Rio Ruiz coming up. You've also got a guy named Kevin Maitan who can't even grow a mustache yet because he's 16 years old. But he is phenomenal. I was watching film on him earlier today. It's crazy how good he is, his instincts, and he's got sneaky pop, too. Some great length. Miguel Cabrera is what they've compared him to, which is high praise. Catching, that's another question. I knew you were probably going to ask that, but that's a question. Catching.
Yeah,
I don't know what the Braves situation is with the catching right now. You had Ryan Lavarnway last year who tore it up, to his credit, with Israel. Hope he signs somewhere in the World Baseball Classic. Tyler Flowers, love the guy. He's great. He's not a starting catcher. No. And you've got a couple of other guys throughout the pipeline right now, but the Braves need to acquire a catcher. You got Kurt Suzuki, but I don't know how long that lasts. I don't know know who your opening day starter is behind the dish, to be honest with you. If it's Tehran, I'm thinking it's Flowers just because of their familiarity, but we'll just have to see what Snicker puts on that lineup a couple of hours before first pitch.
Yeah, I mean, I think the catching position is very intriguing to watch because when you look at Flowers and you look at Suzuki, you know, you can just compare the two catchers. Yeah, you would say that Suzuki's had a slightly better career, but both catchers are very light-hitting catchers. They're not going to hit for a very high average at all. I think Suzuki, the highest he's ever hit in the season was around 270 or something like that. That's about it. And Flowers has had his issues as far as consistency is concerned as well throughout his career. So I think it's a situation right now where they're going to have probably a platoon at catcher. And normally you don't like to have that. If you're a major league team, you want to have that one guy that you can rely on to call a good game every single night. But until they can get someone up there to be that everyday catcher, that's probably what they're looking at. They also have a guy like Anthony Recker who was with the Mets for a couple years. Pretty good kid. Has some power. Maybe not a guy who's going to start every single day, but probably a good guy to have come off the bench. But that's really where they are right now in their catching situation.
You're absolutely right. And you mentioned you want a catalyst back there calling the games every single day. I feel like those are few and far between now when it comes to Major League Baseball. The two that come to mind are Salvador Perez, who unfortunately was injured in the World Baseball Classic, Kansas City Royals, and Yadier Molina, who pretty much single-handedly beat that team last night. I don't know if you were watching the World Baseball Classic, but he picked off two guys in a matter of 5 minutes, and it was tremendous. But he is a captain back there, too, and the Braves do not have that at this time. So that could be something you see John Capalella pick up throughout the season. One name we haven't thrown around, and he could be the it factor, the reason the Braves can compete, is the Gold Glover, Ender Inciarte. Ender Inciarte was tremendous in 2016. I don't want to rub salt in the wound, man, but that is a great catch. He robbed Yoenis Cespedes
I remember that catch.
in that series at Citi Field. I don't mean to rub salt in the wound.
No, I remember. That was are you kidding? That was great. That was an amazing play. Yeah. No salt in the wound at all. That was tremendous what he did. Oh my goodness.
All right, I respect that. I didn't want to rub salt, like I said, but
no.
Ender Inciarte. The Diamondbacks don't know what they lost in him. So to have him and Dansby Swanson on the same field is like a slap in the face of the Diamondbacks organization. Love that organization, but they gave everyone away. We thank you for it, and Ender Inciarte is the it factor. I think he puts maybe double-digit 12 to 15 home runs. That's being kind, because last year he had maybe 7. Drives in 40 or so, because he's going to be a top-of-the-lineup kind of guy. Maybe he may lead off. He may, as I said with Dansby Swanson, hit 7 or 8. We'll just have to, once again, when it looks at a 7 or 8 spot in the leadoff spot, it's essentially a second leadoff spot now in Major League Baseball. I hope that they don't transition to the designated hitter in both leagues. We could talk about that, but not going there. But Ender Inciarte, wherever he is in the lineup, pencil him in, he's going to produce. And I was very excited to see him break out last year. Barring he stays healthy, he's going to do it again this year, and he could be a perennial Gold Glove candidate every single year. And that's something the Braves know a little bit about with a guy named Andrew Jones.
Yes, they do. One of the best to ever patrol out there in Turner Field as well. And, it's going to be a smaller ballpark. We'll talk about the ballpark in a second, but I mean, they have that's a pretty good player to have there in center field in Inciarte. I mean, I remember that play he had against. Watching that play happen, I couldn't help but just tip my cap because that was just tremendous to go up there into the deepest part of the ballpark, leap up to the top of the wall, and bring that home run back and rob Cespedes of a home, or I think it was Cespedes of a home run. That was incredible, absolutely incredible.
He earned the nickname the Game Ender that day, and it was a play on words because his name is Ender. But yeah, I think we're going to see more of that this year from him. It's amazing. He's a shorter guy, but he got up to rob Yoenis Cespedes, and all Yo could do was just watch. We've seen a couple of great plays like that, too, over the past couple of weeks. Did you see the catch Adam Jones made in San Diego?
I did see the highlight of it, yes. It was crazy.
Oh, my gosh. That. I read an article, and that belongs in a museum. That was the headline, because he leaps up. He's a San Diego kid. He's born and raised there, makes the catch, and he's surrounded by fans screaming, jaw dropped, and he got American flags. I mean, the picture was perfect. And the way he made that catch, that was unbelievable. You got to respect it. And Manny Machado tips his cap to his teammate. He robbed his teammate. That had to feel phenomenal in itself. But going back to Ender Inciarte, I just like him. I like his makeup. I like his swing from the left side. I like his speed. He can lay down a bunt. He can steal some bases, which is a lost commodity now in baseball, with the exception of Billy Hamilton and D. Gordon over there in Miami. I feel like he steals more bases. I feel like he gets himself in position, and he has another great season for Atlanta.
One guy I want to just ask you quickly about here is kind of a flex player. He's kind of a utility guy all over the infield. Chase d'Arnaud, the brother of Travis d'Arnaud, the Mets catcher. He's gotten his fair share of at bats last year as a utility guy. What kind of presence does he give the Braves off the bench? I know he's had his issues as far as the batting average is concerned. That happens when you don't have a lot of playing time, obviously. What do you think about him off the bench?
I feel like he's going to be a bench guy. He's going to fill in where you need him. He's not going to blow you away with the numbers. Tremendous season, by the way, so far in spring training for his brother, Travis d'Arnaud. If you don't know, Chase is actually the older brother. A lot of people don't know that. Chase is the older brother, and he fashions himself a rock star as well. He's in a band called the Chase d'Arnaud Band, if you check him out. But he had a lot of different moments let's put it that way, for the Atlanta Braves last year. One that sticks out is he kissed the fan on the cheek when he was going for a ball in left field. He doesn't know the fan. He kisses a stranger on the cheek. That was weird. He'll run the bases really well. He's a great acumen when it comes to baseball there. He'll gap at one every now and then. He doesn't have overall great power. He's a good clubhouse guy, though. He's a really nice personality. Everyone seems to like him. And that's really what he brings, to be honest with you. He's not as good, nor will he ever will be, Martin Prado right now, because he can play anywhere the Braves want to put him. He played first base for Freddie last year. He played a little bit in the outfield, so you can platoon him somewhere. He plays any infield position. That's honestly what he brings, though. He's a utility guy off the bench. He's valuable in certain aspects, and he's probably going to be the go-to pinch hitter this year for Brian Snicker as well.
Absolutely. Very, very true. One guy I noticed that was getting some opportunities in spring training, and I know he's not considered a top prospect, mostly because of his age now, but I've seen this guy play up in Quebec when he was with the Capitals, and that's Balbino Funmeyer. Guy was tremendous a couple of years ago. All the records, I know you guys spoke to Art Charles, you and Chris spoke to Art Charles a few weeks ago. A lot of the records that Art Charles broke were this guy's records, Funmeyer's, in the Can-Am League. Home runs, you're talking about RBIs, you're talking about a guy with pure power. I mean, I've seen this guy take pitches off the end of the bat that would have no business even leaving the infield, and he would flick them towards the warning track. That's how much power this guy has. Now, I know he's certainly on the bottom of the barrel as far as prospects are concerned, considering all the top prospects the Braves have, but that's a guy that if I were you, I would keep an eye on, because he has tremendous power. Hits for a very good average, right-handed slugger, could play outfield and first base. You never know. Could be a guy who could be an option at some point if you needed it.
I'm going to look that one up. How do you spell that last name?
Funmeyer, F-U-E.
Okay, he did get a couple of ABs during spring training. Yeah. I remember seeing his name because it's very unique. That's okay. I'm going to keep an eye out for him. Like you said, I'll look him up once we're done with this interview. Art Charles, though, how good of a guy is he? He is the man. He's just as humble as they come, appreciative of everything he's got. He's in like 5 organizations now. You hope he breaks through with the Brewers. He was featured on Tim Dillard's video the other day. I don't know if you follow Tim Dillard. By the way, if you're listening, you should, because he's hilarious. Dub Smash, he single-handedly keeps that business in just for all of the videos he puts together. But he had Don't Let Me, I don't know what it is, but there was a video and Art Charles was lip-singing. Yeah, exactly. Don't Let Me Down. That was it, yeah. And Art Charles was lip-singing. And the funny part is he's not a pitcher. He's portraying a pitcher, and he's got a first baseman's mitt on. So he's not fooling anybody. But it was pretty funny. But Art is a great guy. I wish him nothing but success. I'm going to look up Funmeyer, though, for sure, just for the name. I want to know what Funmeyer means in whatever native language that is.
I'm not sure. I don't know if there's a native language or anything, but I know the guy can smash. That's why he's from Venezuela. I know that, but the dude can smash.
Like it. Okay.
So he's a guy again, bottom of the barrel prospect. Certainly the guy to keep an eye on. But as far as that song that was used by Art Charles in that video, that song was used in our clubhouse, the Jackal Clubhouse, all last year. Every time they won a game. Okay. So it was kind of like their rally song. So I guess he's gotten the Brewers into that now too.
He already knew the song then. Okay, great. Yeah. He was really good at lip syncing. So that's good. That was pretty funny too. How was that clubhouse? Like, you guys went into a playoff race towards the tail end of the Can-Am League season. It had to be nuts.
Oh my goodness! I mean, those guys just pumped up just by every single game they played. I mean, to get into the playoffs for them was just kind of the culmination. It was kind of funny because the last couple of days of the season we're battling Rockland for the division title,
right?
Just to get the number 1 seed, and we lose it. We lose the first game. We lose both ends of a doubleheader to start that series. It was a 5-game series. One of the games was a makeup game, and Rockland's acting like they just won a World Series. Next day, the Jackals come back. They get a big home run from Daniel Rocket, win that game, and then parlay that into a 3-game winning streak. In fact, Charles had a big home run there last game of the regular season. That got him to 29 home runs and over 100 RBIs in a year. And that game probably best remembered, that last game of the regular season, for the fact that the Jackals had an infielder, Johnny Bladale, actually pitch because they ran out of pitchers at this point just to close the game out, and he struck out 2 batters, which was incredible.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's funny to see that every time it happens in an extra inning game or a blowout. They're going to throw in an infielder that has pitched back in high school or never pitched at all. There was a guy with Rome last year. His name was Yudi Gruyan. He was a utility guy as well. He would play some second and third every now and then. But they brought him in, and it was pretty funny to watch because he didn't really bring it that much. I don't think he struck anyone out. I think he gave up 2 home runs. But it's always funny to see these position guys. Although now you look at Major League Baseball, and a lot of position guys are trying to transition to a game when it comes to pitching. Jordan Schaefer and Christian Bethencourt comes to mind, although both of them are now injured, so they're terrible examples. Let's move on.
Yeah. I got to ask you, what was your time at the Rome Braves? What was that like? You mentioned earlier about seeing some of these young pitchers come up through that system and what they could potentially mean to the Braves, obviously long term. But for yourself being a part of that, what was that like?
Oh, man, it was tremendous. Growing up in Rome, the team you grow up watching, to live that dream in the press box and watch it every night and see the fans you grew up with right in front of you cheering on the same teammates, it was surreal. It was phenomenal. Really tough to put into words, to be honest with you, just because I was on air every night watching these guys play. Granted, they didn't perform that well. They lost a lot those 2 years. But it didn't matter. It didn't matter because I enjoyed my time. I've told you this, but every day I would try to take advantage of every opportunity I had. So I would go down to the clubhouse, check in with the guys, check in with the managers, the assistant coaches. I would head out to batting practice. Like a little kid in a candy store, I would take my glove, and I would catch up the coach. I know a lot of broadcasters probably don't want to do that or don't do that. I did it just because it's fun. Go out there, catch up the coach. This is big. I mean, this is professional baseball, Mike. You're on the field catching up a coach in professional baseball. And then 3 hours later, after you've done all of your prep, you get to call the game? Are you kidding me? That was a dream.
Absolutely.
It was an absolute dream.
Yeah. I mean, what I like to do, even off the field, I would sometimes just hang out with some of the coaches. We had our catching instructor, pitching coach for a couple of years was Ed Ott, the former catcher of the Pittsburgh Pirates back in the 70s. And I would like to hang out with him, kind of pick his brain a little bit, pick the brain of our first base coach, Ani Ramos.
Yeah.
And, kind of get a feel from them, just what's going on, because it'll be, one, great material for the on-air, especially during dead periods in the game, which happens. And two, it's just great to kind of pick the brain of guys who've been there,
Those dead periods definitely happen. Those are when you break out those stories. I always hung out with the pitching coach, Derek Lewis, a good bit. He was very knowledgeable. He's now, I believe, in Mississippi, in the Braves organization, D-Lou. Every time we stopped through a specific city, it was Asheville, North Carolina, we would play the Asheville Tourists, which is the single-A affiliate of the Colorado Rockies. He and I always got this pizza that's called Brix, B-R-I-X. And we would always go in, because we came to Asheville several times throughout that road trip, and we just eat the same pizza every time. And then we just talk baseball, and we talk LeBron James, who was on TV at the time. We just talk sports, talk his family. It was awesome. Because these are real guys. They're away from their family. We're all away from our families for 140 games out of the year, 150 days total if you probably make the playoffs. So these guys can relate. Whether I was 22 years old and he was 35, it didn't matter. You can relate to them. You have these conversations. They're real people. You have the funny stories on the road trips, all the bus trips. It's a camaraderie. It's a family. And there's really nothing better. It's just such a close, tight-knit group. You really can't put a price on that. You really can't, Mike. You've been there. You know.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I know exactly what you're talking about. I mean, again, just to reference, Art Charles, he was the guy that kept the bus very, very lively on those long road trips back and forth from Canada. I will say that. He and a few other guys are kind of the pranksters on the bus, if you will. But that's what it's all about. It's all about just enjoying the ride. For 110 days, what we had during 140 days for you, it's just about enjoying that ride every single day.
Yeah, and one of the best things in those 2 seasons was the Atlanta Braves exhibition game, which is a showcase of the future stars in the Braves organization from every level playing the Atlanta Braves. And we were fortunate enough to host that game in 2014 at State Mutual Stadium, and I had the call with Jim Powell of the Atlanta Braves Radio Network. Like, Jim just let me go. He let me go for 3 straight innings and probably only chimed in every now and then, and he just let me go. And it was a blast. That's a big league broadcaster. I'm sitting right next to him. And the second, I got to call 3-4 innings with Bob Costas. in Charleston, South Carolina. Now, this is my first season, so I'm a kid right now, and I'm as green as they come, and I'm trying to remain professional. I didn't get a picture, so I didn't do that. I wanted one so bad. Wanted him to autograph my scorebook, too. But the way that came about, Charleston River Dogs is a single-A affiliate of the New York Yankees, if you don't know. And Bob Costas is actually friends with one of the co-owners. So he was there that night. He frequently checks out games over there, as does Bill Murray. He's co-owner as well. But so Bob's just walking around in the press box, and one of the owners comes in and says, "Hey, we have Bob Costas in here. Would you like to come in?" Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'm not going to turn Bob Costas away. He's the voice of the Olympics, for crying out loud. So, yeah, He comes in, and we called 3-4 innings together. We talked about baseball, talked about situations. Just an awesome dude. That was amazing, though. That was absolutely amazing. This is like a few months into the season, like 3-4 months into the season maybe. It was amazing. Some great memories from those 2 seasons.
Great stuff. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Folks, we're here on the Open Mic program talking to Ben Poplin of 27 Ounce Baseball. We are talking about the Atlanta Braves for the 2017 season. Let me just ask you about the new stadium here, because they're going to be opening it up this year. Yep. Obviously, Turner Field was home of this team for over 20 years, and now they're going to a ballpark that's going to be a little bit smaller. Of course, we don't know how this ballpark is going to play, whether it's going to be a hitter's park, pitcher's park. Just by looking at the pictures, I'm guessing it's going to be more of a hitter's park compared to Turner Field, but we'll see how this ballpark plays. What are your thoughts, one, to the new ballpark, and what's kind of the fan reaction? I mean, are they excited about it? Are they annoyed because there's, Turner Field's still up there and, wasn't that over the stadium? What's going on down there?
It's a mixed reaction, honestly, and I was pretty mixed reaction when I heard the news that they were going to build a new ballpark, because Turner Field's only 20-plus years old. That's not old. The same thing with the Georgia Dome right down the street in Atlanta. You got Mercedes-Benz right next door, literally right next door, and the dome's going to be torn down. And it's a shame, because there's been so much history. I had the chance to see WrestleMania at Georgia Dome. Greatest sporting event I've ever seen. I don't care if you say it's fake. Had the chance to see it. It was in the Coca-Cola suite. I don't know how many Cokes I drank that night, but it was amazing. Free chicken wings is nuts. But SunTrust Park does look pretty amazing. I will give you that. I don't know if I'm a fan of the green seats. That's an interesting color they chose, but all of the fanfare they have at that stadium, the Battery, which is the shopping area around it that John Sherholtz had a hand in creating, they're going to create this as an atmosphere where when you go to a Braves game at SunTrust Park, you're not only going to just come to the game, you're going to spend hours before shopping in all of these places, eating in all of these restaurants, taking in all of the atmosphere, all the fan interaction, because there's a lot. They've also involved Hank Aaron tremendously, which is what they should do, because the patriarch of the Atlanta Braves, that's Hank Aaron. Chipper Jones is probably a close second, and they've involved him and Dale Murphy quite a bit as well. Back to the fan reaction, though, mixed reactions, honestly, because it is in Cobb County now. That's a little tougher to get to. Traffic is going to be a hassle. Traffic in Atlanta was already a hassle. People wanted a MARTA train to let off at the stadium, and it never happened. So maybe in the future they're able to develop that, and that's going to really boost attendance ratings at SunTrust Park. And let's be honest, the tickets already aren't that expensive. I mean, we're not talking a Yankee Stadium ticket here, $500 for a left field seat. No, this is very, very frugal. If you just save up money for a couple of months, you can come see a game at SunTrust Park. And it just looks beautiful. As you said, I don't know how the park's going to play. It does look pretty big. Word on the street is they've taken little pieces of several ballparks throughout Major League Baseball, and they've added them into SunTrust Park. So it's kind of a mix of 3 or 4 different parks all at the same time. But a lot of fans are angry. Some fans are happy. The season ticket holders, who are mainly in Cobb County, they're ecstatic because it's right there in their backyard. So that's what you have. Guys like me in Rome, I don't know how many times I'll get down there. I have a love for Turner Field, though, because I, in college, worked there for 4 seasons as a member of the guest relations department. So I saw a lot of days. I saw Baldo Jimenez throw a no-hitter against the Atlanta Braves. Still hurts. Saw the infield fly, infamous infield fly against the St. Louis Cardinals, which was a bogus call. Several inductees into the Braves Hall of Fame, Chipper Jones, Tom Glavine, Greg Maddux, you name it, Bobby Cox. I saw the wild card game. It was all at Turner Field. So what memories are they going to create at SunTrust Park? It remains to be seen. But it's a state-of-the-art park, that's for sure. And it's beautiful. It is beautiful. I cannot wait to see. And when they first announced that they were going to build this park, the thought process, at least mine, was, okay, so they think they're going to solve all of their problems right now just by building a new ballpark? That's not going to work. But now they've acquired all of these guys like a Matt Kemp and Nick Markakis, Ender Inciarte, Dansby Swanson, Ozzie Albies, all of these guys, all of the pitchers we've mentioned. So everything comes full circle now. And you've got the park, you've got the team to match. Now it's go time. And let's see what happens in about 3 years or so when this team is really, really formidable.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's when this ballpark's going to be kicking. And, of course, they open up the ballpark. They open it up in a couple of weeks. They're going to play the Yankees. It seems like whenever someone opens up a ballpark, they have to play the Yankees in spring training. It seems like it's tradition. I just, I understand it. But
I don't understand that. But, hey, it works out. You'll get a lot of fans. Also, they've got a great concert series coming up. Billy Joel and then Metallica. That's two heavy hitters right there. Billy Joel going to sell out the stadium in one of its first nights. The Piano Man himself. That's going to be immaculate and an amazing, amazing scene.
That's going to be great. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing what this ballpark is going to look like. I'm looking forward to see how it plays. I'm looking forward to see how it draws as far as attendance. I'm sure they're going to draw very well. It is a slightly smaller ballpark than Turner Field, obviously. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be exciting to see. I think the first time the Mets go down there is here. It is May 1st. So that's probably the time, other than just watching a game on ESPN up here or whatever. I'll probably get a chance to see it. So really looking forward
to the season. Nice.
Yeah, right in the middle of the summer. So at this point, folks, as we are previewing this Atlanta Braves team, let's talk about where they fit in this division, and let's just kind of preview this division right now. I came on your show just a couple of days ago, and I gave you a division of the Nationals winning, the Mets being in second place, maybe the Marlins in third, and then Atlanta and Philadelphia following that in suit. What are your thoughts to this division, honestly?
It's probably about right, honestly. Everything you just said, that's probably about right. The only thing I could see is if the Mets have some injuries and the pitchers go down, then you may see the Braves leapfrog, but it'll only be for a time frame. I don't think the Braves have the sustainability to have a second place, maybe third place, but that's being kind. I don't know what you're going to get out of the Marlins, to be honest with you. I don't know what they have besides Giancarlo Stanton and Christian Yelich and Bohr over there at first base. Martin Prado's hurt right now out of the Venezuela World Baseball Classic, so I don't know what you're going to get out of them. Phillies, no, we're not even going to go there. But, yeah, I think the Nationals and Mets will flip-flop first place for several months. Down the stretch, as we've learned in the postseason, leading up to the postseason, it all depends on pitching. And right now, in my opinion, the Mets have a better rotation. We'll see how injuries pan out, though, for both of these teams. Bullpen also factors in, which is something we discussed on my show. Who has the better bullpen? Juris Familia, he's a great closer. Who is the Nationals closer? We don't know. Point Mets, setup man for the Mets. Who's that going to be? Nationals, who do they have? Don't know. So a lot of questions regarding the bullpens, because that is going to be the bolstering staff. How healthy does Steven Strasburg stay? I don't know. Are they going to finally let him pitch a full season? Gio Gonzalez, a couple of other guys that will come up through the pipeline for the Washington Nationals, which I've seen firsthand, Hagerstown Suns. It's a good system they have. They have some really good pitching. Also in the New York Mets, having seen them in the Savannah Sandgnats and now the Columbia Fireflies, really good pitching there as well. So to answer your question, long-winded as such, I feel like the Nationals probably pull out. They win the NL East. I feel like the Mets maybe clinch a wild card spot. We'll see how the Cardinals play in the NL Central. But I think the NL East winners are, unfortunately, going to be the Nationals. I would love for it to be the Mets. I like the Mets more than I like the Nationals right now.
Yeah, well, we'll see how it plays out. I mean, I have my concerns about where the Mets are, just from the standpoint of consistency in their lineup. A lot of injury concerns with David Wright, off-field issues. It seems like it's all the time with Jose Reyes. The health of Matt Harvey notwithstanding. So we'll see how it plays out with them. Mm-hmm. And who knows, we'll have a Tebow sighting. God help us. But
Yeah, that news broke yesterday. Columbia Fireflies. Coming to Rome April 17th. Get your tickets now.
Exactly.
He
Oh,
is,
my
man.
goodness.
He is. Columbia Fireflies are coming to Rome, and
Hey.
Tito's supposedly going to be in the starting lineup. It's going to be a media circus.
Oh, yes. No, yes, that is gonna be a lot of. That's gonna be very interesting. I do not envy the media coordinator right now for that homestand right there. But that's serious.
The closest
Oh my.
thing, the closest thing I can equate that to is I was with the Rome Braves when Alex Rodriguez rehabbed as a member of the Charleston River Dogs. They have no socks. But Pedro Gomez was there for ESPN. Several other media reps were there. All the news stations. It was a circus in the Charleston press box, which is a pretty good-sized press box. They've got guys at the counter. Then outside, they've got a roped-off area with chairs and a table. And then everyone's walking around. There's no telling how many scouts are there. There's no telling how many news stations and media reps are there. Down the line is an ESPN tent. When Alex Rodriguez exits the game, he's got a security guard escorting him down the first baseline while the game is going on, and he's signing autographs. That's such an A-Rod move. Yeah.
It is such
He's
a
great analyst
such an
for FS1, though. I'll give him that. He is a great analyst for FS1. Great coverage in the World Series. He is good.
He's very, very good. He's very good at the analyst job. And I think in a lot of ways up here in New York, I'll be honest with you, the fans are happy he's not there. He's not playing anymore. I'll be honest with you right now.
Yeah.
Oh,
T.J. Rivera, though, who's Alex Rodriguez's twin.
The love-hate the Yankee fans had with Alex Rodriguez is probably something I've never seen in any sport, and probably will never see ever again, because he'll do well. He'll have his 3-for-4 night. They'll love him. Then he'll do something ridiculous. It'll end up in the newspapers, and like, oh, let's get rid of this guy. I mean, it was every single day was the same thing.
Mm-hmm. I think I asked you this. I asked you this on the show. I asked, like, who would be the first New York Yankee to be booed by his own fan base this year, and I think you said CC Sabathia.
Yes.
Because you don't know what you're going to get at CC Sabathia. He's a washed-up veteran right now, and he's got no zip on his fastball, and he's probably the number 2 or 3 starter. You could bump him down to 3 or 4, honestly, with Luis Severino. I don't know how healthy Tanaka stays, but yeah, those New York fans are brutal. They do not hold back.
No, they don't. They do not. I mean,
they do not.
This kind of a Atlanta-related thing too. I was at the ballpark the day John Rocker. This was after John Rocker bashed New York, and the first game that he came with after he ripped apart the New York fans and everything. My goodness, I was in the ballpark. You would not believe the booing in that stadium. Unbelievable.
Yeah. He has no filter. He really opened his mouth, stuck his foot wide up in there. I got a 2-part answer to that because I've got 2 stories. John Rocker threw a first pitch at Augusta Green Jackets when the Rome Braves were playing them, and he tried to fire it so hard. This dude's arms are massive. His shirt doesn't fit. He's got the, quote, schmedium, and, he throws it as hard as humanly possible, and it bounces away. I don't think the catcher even made it. Follow up to that, my experience with the New York Yankees, I've never been to a Yankees game, but I have been at Turner Field working while the Yankees were playing the Braves in interleague play. So after the game, these Yankees and Braves fans are getting into it, and this is going to like a Seinfeld reference. I'm walking outside of the gate, and there's some fans that are yelling. They're unruly, and I don't know if he starts to shove him or just bark at him, but the Yankees fan spits. And he spits, and much like in Seinfeld again, I think it misses the Braves fan and then hits me. So that was my Yankees experience there, much like the one magic loogie on Seinfeld. It really happened.
Back into the left. Back into the left.
Back and to the left. Back and to the left. Yeah. Theologically not possible. I could talk Seinfeld all day. I celebrate Festivus every year. But, yeah.
Hey, welcome to the show. Well, I guess you and I are both Festivus for the rest of us trolls or something, because I do the same thing.
Oh, yeah, man. I'm not Jewish at all either. I just celebrate Festivus just because, it's a great holiday. The arrogant reinvents it, the pole, just because you don't want tinsel on it because it's distracting. of course, the feats of strength, the whole nine.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a shirt I wear every year. It says the Festivus for the rest of us. Just December 23rd.
Oh
do,
my
man.
goodness! I believe you. I actually have, believe it or not, a Festivus pole. It's tiny. It's small. It's not very big, but it has the Happy Festivus written on it. It's fantastic.
Hey, no bigger. Yeah. Oh, good
All right.
stuff.
Well, we're coming up to the end here, Ben. I really want to thank you so much for coming on, talking about the Atlanta Braves, and of course everything else that we discussed here in this
Absolutely.
hour.
It's been a blast,
obviously,
man. Thanks for having me.
Oh, no problem. So obviously down the road, throughout the course of this season, I'd love to have you back on and talk some more baseball.